Hello, foodie fans. Welcome to the Big Food Talk, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. I'm your host, Sal Conca. This show supports restaurants, chefs, and food pioneers with your help. Head to bigfoodtalk.com to make your donation today, or check out our fun apparel line with proceeds going directly to participating restaurants. Special thanks to the Long Island Food Council, DineLI Facebook group, and Yelp Long Island for supporting this episode. Today I'm speaking with small business owner and charcuterie board maker Dianna of Breaking Bread LI. In this episode, we dig into what makes the perfect charcuterie bite as well as its origins in France. Whether you're a charcuterie board expert or a novice, you won't want to miss out on our exclusive Big Food Talk discount for Breaking Bread LI this holiday season. Let's hear Dianna's story. Dianna, I want to officially invite you to the Big Food Talk. It's been so great getting to know you and your boards. I got to try one myself. They're amazing. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, when I talked about supporting local businesses when I started this, this was my intent. The restaurants, people that are really involved in the food industry and trying to do something like from out of their home. And
yeah,
I think I couldn't get any more local. You literally live like down the block from me.
I know. It's so funny. I know.
I probably walk past your house like 1,000 times. So if you see me walking by, I'm not stalking you.
No, you really are so close. I couldn't believe that.
I know. It's great. So we live in Copiague and, it's a great small community. We have all these Polish delis and great Polish community. And my wife has lived here for 20 something years. So I'm new to the area. So I'm learning about this town.
Yeah, I grew up here. I was born and raised, and my dad was too. So I think there's a lot of great food places in town. You know what I mean? They're definitely small, family owned, maybe not as popular, but you can get some really great food over here, especially the bodegas, the Polish delis, great stuff,
Absolutely. And really economical, like you come out of there with huge portions for no money, right?
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Big value, big value.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it. You started this business called Breaking Bread.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start this? What's it all about? What was the inspiration behind it?
I guess charcuterie has always been something I did as a hobby. You know what I mean? And it was just something I would enjoy with my friends. And, I guess they were really impressed by my displays and stuff like that. Even if it was just for a couple of us sitting down at a table, I always went above and beyond with my presentation. I really enjoyed just making it look, beautiful. So back in August, my grandmother passed away. She raised me. She was a longtime Copiague resident. She was here for 60 years. And, I kind of went into a little funk. And then probably about a week after she passed away, I said, let me do something to make myself feel like myself again. And I made a board and I posted it. Mm-hmm. Just, here's, just posted on Instagram. And I had a bunch of people reach out you should start selling these. I would buy these from you. They're so beautiful. They're amazing. And it was just never something I considered before because I don't know, I guess just when you're doing it yourself and you're doing it for yourself, you don't think other people are going to want to buy it. I don't know. So I just surveyed a couple people, if I started doing something, who would be interested in, buying these boards for me? And a bunch of people reached out and I started researching it a little bit, not competition, but other similar businesses across the country. You know what I mean? See what they're putting out, see how they're advertising, what kind of creative names they came up with. So that's kind of how it started. I started to brainstorm in a little notebook I had and write down different names that I thought would sound clever until I got to Breaking Bread. And the saying to break bread, you know what I mean? You can't be enemies with someone you break bread with, right? And I just thought that was really great because it just, when you eat together with people, it's just kind of like a sign of, it's a togetherness thing for me. And I grew up with that and I think it's really important. So that's how I came up with the name.
That's awesome. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful story. I didn't know it before, and so I'm like beaming. Like it's really a beautiful sentiment around how you're building
Yeah.
your business. And so, did I hear that right? You just said you just started this in August, so you're only 2 months in.
Yeah, I mean, probably, September 1st officially is when I put up the Instagram and started posting. And the first night that I posted it, I had 4 orders.
Mhm.
So I was totally shocked. I was just like, wow, like, and, um, I set my prices kind of low because again, it was my first night. I didn't know where this was going to take me. I was kind of just taking a chance on myself. Like, let's see how this goes. You know what I mean? It can't hurt to take a shot. And it just got better and better from there. The orders kept coming in and I kind of just upgraded. I think my first board that I made, it's so silly now. I wrapped it in like saran wrap because I didn't know like where it was going to take me. And now, of course, I have like these beautiful boxes and platters, with cellophane. You can, do whatever you want as far as presentation goes. But I just think it's so funny, like the way I started to where I am now in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
It's amazing to me. It really is. I've had a lot of support from the local community and just friends and family. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. That's great to hear. I love seeing always pulling for the little guy and
Yeah, yeah,
all
me
that
too.
stuff. So I love that story. And what you talked about, just breaking bread. I've talked about it on the show before, actually, and it's a sentiment of,
Really?
like, from, well, just meaning, like Anthony Bourdain's philosophy on food and breaking down walls, and that food brings people
Yes.
together from all cultures
Absolutely.
and all that type of stuff. So that's
Absolutely.
and I think your boards have the opportunity to do that too, right? I mean, families are going to be enjoying these, whether it's for a birthday celebration, a holiday, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, even just a night in together, just because, especially during the quarantine. I mean, we were all just together, you know what I mean, in our
Mhm.
houses. So we were definitely doing a lot of eating. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I reached out to you because I said, well, my wife and I do date night, and so
yeah,
we only did one or two of these, but we do this date night series of the Big Food Talk where we evaluate
yeah.
and like review some wines, and so I was like, I gotta have one of these charcuterie boards so we could taste it and do a date night video. So everybody look for that coming up soon on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, but they go perfect with wine. I mean, even, you could pair it with like a craft beer, wine, anything really. I mean, it just complements it so well.
And so let's talk about that, right? The food itself. What goes on a charcuterie board? What makes it so diverse?
Well, I mean, there's so much to pick from. Like, I feel like if you have a charcuterie board out, there's something on there for everybody in the room. You know what I mean? It depends on what you want. I allow my customers to customize their boards so they can kind of pick and choose what they do or don't want on them. But typically, if they just say, take your creativity and do whatever you want, I do a selection of different cheeses. I like to put a lot of different textures on the board. So I'll usually do some hard cheeses, soft cheeses, and then maybe semi-firm, semi-soft. And then we'll do the charcuterie itself, which is the cured meat. And I try to buy a variety of all different things and try different things that even maybe I personally myself aren't too fond of, like my least favorite cheese, which I know people are gonna be like, what is brie? But you know what I mean? But I put it on my boards because people love it. So as far as the meats goes, we do sopressata, dry hard salami, gabagool. We do, I mean, just, you name it, I'm putting it on the boards and I try to change it up. I really love speck. It's so smoky and it pairs really well. A lot of people don't know, when they get the boards, like you can pair a lot of stuff together and it like tastes really well. Like I really love putting the fresh mozzarella on a cracker with some of the apricot jam with the speck. And it's phenomenal.
Yes, you got to get that a little bit of the sweet and the spicy together and salty, and so you get the perfect bite out of all this. That's
Definitely.
my wife and I the other night were definitely enjoying it that way. We were putting I don't know what the type of jam we had in our box was. Was it plum?
Yes, it was plum. Yes.
Yeah, so it took us a second to figure it out, but we were like, "This is plum," and
Yeah.
I put the plum with the manchego and some of the salami, and it was
Oh,
phenomenal.
it's so good, right?
Yeah.
I feel like people would be so surprised too, because you don't think like jelly goes with meat, you know what I mean? But it does, it goes so well together. that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like pairing all the things on the board together. It all goes so nicely, you know?
Def Definitely. I think, in the past, and I love it, it also had like a lot of dried fruits and nuts in there and all these different things. So yeah, you really had different bites, and you had sour, there were pickles and olives in there, and a little bit of hummus as well, which was amazing.
Yes, I try to change it up, you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't put hummus on the boards, but when I do, I try to add different things just besides like pita crackers. I like to do raw veggies, you know what I mean, and stuff like that to give a little crunch to the board just besides crackers, you know what I mean? But I mean, you could just go all out, you know what I mean? There's so many.
So what I was wondering is, do you actually theme the boards? Like if somebody wants an Italian only board or a Mediterranean inspired board, a Spanish board, like do you do themes? How do you come up with the creativity around them?
Definitely. I've had people ask like they prefer Italian style, so I stick to, you know, Asiago, maybe Parmesan, you know, fresh mozzarella. I don't have burrata yet, but like I said, I'm working on it, and you know, but yeah, we can definitely do that. I've definitely customized boards. You know, people like Mediterranean style, so we do hummus, maybe more Kalamata olives than the other ones, which are just, you know, I have a variety of different ones, but I definitely try to accommodate the flavor palette of my client whenever they're ordering, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it really, they could choose whatever they want. So if they say they want something, I really try my best to create that for them.
Sure, sure, absolutely. And so we're talking about all these meats and cheeses and cheese boards, and so people have a lot of different perceptions about what charcuterie, and you even pronounce it better than me. But so, how do you define charcuterie? What actually is charcuterie? I looked up a definition, but I'd love to hear yours.
So charcuterie is French for cured meats. So I guess what we would call cold here in the US. So like your salami, your soppressata, all that stuff, you know, and so that's what charcuterie really is. But when I make charcuterie, I mean, you can't have that without the cheese. You can't do it without the cheese. I mean, it really just it just goes, you know. So I've never made a board with just meat before.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I'll read you the official definition that I found.
I'd love to hear it.
So this was from the Webstaurant store, which is a supplier of equipment for food businesses and things like that. So it says charcuterie is a branch of cooking involving prepared meats such as ham, sausage, bacon, confit, or other pork products. And the word originated in France, and it translates to pork butcher shop. So
Interesting.
exactly right. So while it refers to pork, modern charcuterie boards can include other types of food, such as duck, goose, chicken, cheese, toast, fruits, or other options. Right, and this is how in America we adopt everything here and make a nice amalgamation of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So what types of meats typically do you put on your boards? Like, what's the most common type of meat that you'll use?
I definitely do a lot of Italian spec. Like I said, I love that. I personally love it myself, so I try to put it on a lot of my boards. I also like gabagool, like I really do. Maybe it's the Italian in me, but I think it's so good. And I do just regular salami, maybe hot salami. So a lot of Italian meats. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? It's what I'm familiar with. I think a lot of people are also familiar with it because here on Long Island, we have so many like Italian delis and stuff like that. Everyone knows what antipasta is. And it's just, you know what I mean? So I think those are the favorites. You know what I mean? So that's what goes on my boards typically.
Well, I have, this may be a business investment for you. I found at Costco the other day, they're selling whole Serrano hams for $100. So I don't know, that might be something you could start to incorporate. You can go buy this whole Serrano ham for yourself and start slicing and using it on your board. It was like $100 for 14 pounds.
That's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, I go all over for my stuff. It really depends on where I am and what I see. I like to change my things, my ingredients up constantly because especially because when the seasons change, you know, different things are in, you know, in season, certain things are
Mhm.
ripe. You know what I mean? Like I can still do caprese in the winter, but in the summertime, I mean, I have my fresh basil in the yard. You know what I mean? Just those little ingredients that make all the difference.
So when do people typically eat charcuterie boards or boxes, like these grazing boxes as we call them now? Like what are people ordering these for? What types of occasions? What have you seen?
So I have a lot of people ordering them for other people actually. So someone will say, "It's my friend's anniversary. I really want to send them something nice. Can you deliver it?" And or sometimes they pick it up. But so a lot of it is gifts, like basically people showing their appreciation or something to someone else like that. And you know, it is a great gift. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. And I feel like that's really important. You know what I mean? Presentation when it comes to charcuterie, especially, but just food in general in the modern world. You know what I mean? Food can taste good, but if it doesn't look good, no one's going to want to post it on their Instagram, right?
Absolutely. So I'm exactly. And so a lot of work, you talked about your preparation and the design. Like, do you have some sort of like philosophy when you go into arranging a board, or you just kind of wing it? Like, what does it come down to when you're trying to arrange these boards?
Well, what I start out with, actually, it's funny. So when I first started, you know, I was just kind of winging it. I was just going with my own creative visions and just doing what I thought looked really nice. And probably 2 days after I started, my sister sent me a book in the mail, and it's called This Cheese Plate Will Change Your Life. And it's just got all these beautiful photos and examples and, you know, diagrams of basically how to arrange your cheese, even how to slice your cheese. So I was really still learning when I started, and I think it just started to come naturally, like, okay, this is how to cut this cheese to make it look uniform and just so. And I think that you can do it however you want. Some boards are a little bit more sporadic, where there's a little bit of everything everywhere. And then other ones I try to make a little bit more uniform, because it does like photograph really well and stuff like that. And also, I think people are more inclined to, you know, when there's like a whole row of meats instead of just like all over the place, like they'll go for that. They know what it is, they like it, so they'll keep going back to that spot on the board. So I don't really have a formula. I kind of just throw on my Spotify, start cutting and arranging things, and that's it. You know, I just kind of go with where it's taking me as I'm doing it.
That's great. That's so cool. And I know we talked about this before. So you've been generous enough to offer our listeners $5 off their board if they mention the Big Food Talk. Is that how that's going to work?
Yes, absolutely. If they mention that they watch or they listen, and that's how they found me, they get $5 off any size board.
Perfect. That's awesome. And can they do that? Because I know the holidays are coming up. So all through the holiday season, we'll run that for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. That's amazing. Dianna, this has been so amazing chatting with you today. I loved hearing about your passion for charcuterie, and I can't wait to see your business grow, and I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely. Everybody go follow Breaking Bread LI on Instagram, and make sure to mention the Big Food Talk. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Food Talk, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. Subscribe on iTunes and wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes takes, or watch complete episodes on YouTube. Don't forget to make a donation at bigfoodtalk.com.